Human rights abuses happen all over the world where people are discriminated against for simply existing, for their faith, for their ethnicity. I take particular interest in this because I'm of Croatian descent, and sadly my relatives were targets of ethnic cleansing and genocide as recent as the 1990s under the communist Yugoslavs and ultranationalist Serbs. Sadly, in communist China, some of these worst human rights abuses exist today. There's a group of Turkic Muslims living in far west China called Uyghurs. Upwards of 12 million of them live there. According to the United Nations, it is estimated that almost 2 million Uyghurs have been forced into political camps for re-education, a typical tool of any communist regime, and in particular, communist China. Stories are emerging of horrors and abuses from these camps, which will bring you to tears. Well, today, we're going to focus our attention on the plight of the Uyghur people and out in specific detail find out what is happening and finally, what can and should be done by Canada. Well, joining me now for a panel discussion is Joanna Chiu, author and journalist who is internationally recognized as an expert on China. She's currently a senior journalist with the Toronto Star. And also sharing his perspective is Mehmet Tohti, a Uyghur activist and executive director of Uyghur Rights Advocacy Project. Welcome to the both of you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly hope you can shed some light on this topic so that us Canadians can have a better understanding as to what is happening and what can be done. So, Mehmet, we'll start with you, if you don't mind. Can you please, for our viewers, give us an explanation of who the Uyghur people are and how they came to be now in Western China?
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for the invitation. Uyghurs are one of the ancient people living in that geography since a millennium. And the Uyghurs are basically, I can say, the forefather of all Turkic people, including today's Kazakhs in Kazakhstan, Uzbeks in Uzbekistan, Azerbaijanis, even Turkish people in Anatolia. All of those people moved west since millennium. And the remaining parts are Uyghurs today, living in the ancestral homeland called East Turkestan, and they rename it as Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region since 1955. So that area is the home for Uyghurs, and we developed our unique identity, including unique culture, language, history, and we contributed to the civilization of the world. And that is the place that played as a center for Asian Silk Road, where Asian cultures, religions, and trade exchanged and intermingled. So today, approximately Chinese official statistics says around 13 million Uyghurs
13
live
million.
there. And Uyghurs, we know it is approximately 18 to 20 million people are living there, and since 1955, area is designated as ethnic autonomous region called Uyghur Autonomous Region. That is the one of the 5 autonomous region in China, just like Tibet Autonomous Region,
right.
Uyghur Autonomous Region, Mongolian Autonomous Region, and the 2 others.
So let me ask you a quick question. Prior to a few years ago, I probably, like many other people in Canada, had not heard of the Uyghur people, but now we hear many times in the news. Mehmet, one more time, have the Uyghurs always been under persecution in China since the 50s, or is this relatively new?
Yeah, it is a long story. Just Canadians and many parts of the world, they listened us just recently. Otherwise, I have been in Canada advocating for this cause more than 22 years. And our exile group, after the occupation in 1949, just like Dalai Lama did, our exile leaders have been advocating for the cause since 1950s. And somehow our calls and our cries ignored since long time. And even after the 2017, when we got the information about our family members and horrific stories, when we approached the Western capitals, including our capital in Ottawa and Washington, people always said, high-level officials, okay, we know the problem, do not exaggerate, and it is impossible to detain millions of people.